Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Quite dirty. Better. Thank you all for coming. We're discussing this evening the Vanaprastha adventure. Yesterday we discussed topics from this book, Srila Prabhupada's Kirtan Standards, and I'm working on another book, the Vanaprastha Adventure. As we know, yes, you could check your cell phones and see that they're in silent mode. Maybe I'll even do the same thing. As we know, the Varnashram system involves 8 divisions, 4 Varnas and 4 ashrams. The Varnas are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and the ashrams are Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. Ideally, Srila Prabhupada said, the human life would be divided into 4 sections: 25 years student life, 25 years married life, 25 years retired life, and 25 years renounced life. Of course, there's no guarantee of 100 years, but that's the division that he often cited. The Vanaprastha ashram is the ashram of retirement between Grahastha life and sannyas life. And let's see, get our notes a little together. In the past, people would literally go to the Tapovan, to the forest. Prithu Maharaj went to the forest. Dhruv Maharaj went to the forest. So many great Bharat Maharaj went to the forest. So many great kings went to the forest to practice tapasya for detachment from material existence. In the present age, no one is really expected to go live in the forest on fruits and berries and wear tree bark. But still we can adopt the spirit and the core principles of the Vanaprastha ashram with the same purpose: to get free from material entanglement and prepare for the final journey at the end of life, to go back home, back to Godhead. So adopting the Vanaprastha ashram is, at its core, a change of heart, a change of consciousness, but it also involves a change of activity. A Vanaprastha lives differently from a Grahastha. And we'll talk more about that as we go through the book. The brahmacharis, by the way, those who remain brahmacharis, have no need of the Vanaprastha ashram. They're already detached, so they can go directly from brahmachari life to sannyas life, or simply remain brahmachari. Let's see. Let's see. Some Vanaprastha life seems to be the unseen ashram in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We see brahmacharis, we see lots of grahastas, we see a few sannyasis, and we hardly see any vanaprasthas. In the beginning of the Krishna consciousness movement, this wasn't very surprising because practically all the members were in their 20s and 30s. But now we have many members eligible to enter the Vanaprastha ashram. Prabhupada wrote, it is not that a grahastha should live at home until he dies. In the Krishna consciousness movement, there are many young couples engaged in the Lord's service. Eventually, they are supposed to take Vanaprastha, and after the Vanaprastha stage, the husband may take sannyas in order to preach. The wife may then remain alone and serve the deity or engage in other activities within the Krishna consciousness movement. So there may be exceptions, but that was the instruction. It's not that the Vanaprastha ashram was something done perhaps as late as Treta Yuga or Dwapara Yuga or the beginning of Kali Yuga, but no longer valid or useful. Prabhupada here instructs that the young devotees at that time, this would have been the 1970s, the young married couples should expect to adopt the Vanaprastha ashram. Although we don't have, well, I shouldn't say, practically in all of Srila Prabhupada's books, the Vanaprastha ashram is mentioned, although it's usually not discussed in much detail, but it does come, and when we go through the books, we'll find a fair amount of instruction about it. One aphorism that Srila Prabhupada very often quoted was Pancha Shordham Vanam Brajet. The Panchasa means after 50, Urdhvam, so past 50, Panchasa Urdhvam. Vanam Brajet, Vana is the forest, and Brajet is imperative. One must. What must one do? Vanam Brajet, one must go to the forest or accept the Vanaprastha ashram. This is vidhi-lean, or imperative mood. It's not may, it's must. Pancha Shoradam Vanam Brajet. Quite often you'll find, I could look in the folio and see how long the hit list is, but it's quite often that Prabhupada cites this. So it's not something that's just a sort of a relic of bygone days, something that we read about in Mahabharata or Ramayana, something for the old Munis. This is intended for the human society of the present time, and especially for the members of the Krishna consciousness movement. Because our intention is to go back to Godhead, to get free from this material existence and go back to Godhead. Mukta Sangha, param brajet. Kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param brajet. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, we can expect to get free from material entanglement and go back to home, back to Godhead. Mukta sangha param brajet. And what is the biggest material entanglement? Any suggestions? What is the biggest cause of material entanglement? Family life, or particularly association between man and woman. Striya, pumsa striya, maituna, pavameta, etad, then mito, etayar mito, hridiya grantamahu. Atak griha kshetra sutta aptavitar. Janasya mohoya mahamameti. The basis of material existence is attraction between male and female. From that we get griha, home, property, children, relatives, preoccupation with money, and in this way we become influenced by illusion and mameti. I think I'm such and such, this is my wife, this is my family, this is my home, this is my Tesla, this is my this is my that. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj instructed his father. His father asked him, what is the best thing that you learned in your school? What is the best thing you learned from your teachers? Tat sadhu manye suravarya dehinam. Then, asada sumud vigna dhyam asatgrahat. For those who are always samud vigna dhyam, whose minds are always disturbed by material existence. My dear, best of the demons, he didn't say my dear father, Asuravarya, oh best of the demons, this is what I've learned. Tat sadhu manye, Asuravarya dehinam. This is very good. What is that? For such people, what is that? Krishna, Krishna. Hitvatma patam griham andakupam. He should get free from this griha andakupam, dark well of family life. Vanam gato yad harimashriyeta. He should go to the forest and take shelter of Krishna. Of course, in Krishna consciousness, we generally don't think of family life as a dark well. Husband and wife are both engaged in the service of Krishna. But still, even the Krishna conscious householders are advised to retire from family life and enter the Vanaprastha ashram. Vanam gatoyad harimashret, just to go to the forest or to go to, I've seen on the internet that in maybe it's Hyderabad or someplace in South India, there's advertising of Vanaprastha ashram, and it's kind of a sub-luxury housing development for seniors.
That is the builder's name.
That's the builder's name, not Mr. Vanaprastha, but that's the name they've given to the development, Vanaprastha, with nice, and it doesn't look very nice to me, but anyway, they're advertising and must be getting some customers. Retire to our beautiful Vanaprastha ashram, and we'll take care of your every need. So, not that kind of Vanaprastha. ashram, but Harim Ashrayeta, to take shelter of Krishna. Someone may say, let's see, that, well, let me just stay home and be a Vanaprastha. But Prabhupada taught that to retire from family life, one should leave home. He said, for it's very difficult to retire from family life and at the same time remain at home. What am I retiring from? I'm in the same nest with the same birds. Maybe some have flown, but the most important birds are still there. And where's the Vana? And where's Harima Shriyeta? So there's meant to be a change. And we can point to, by the way, I'm writing a book on this topic. Really the book is written, but I want to add a large section of case studies or interviews with devotees in ISKCON who've adopted the Vanaprastha ashram. And that's my present slowly going on work. What's written is being serialized, by the way, on my website, jswami.info, and it's being, and you can, there's probably about 15 installments already published, so those who are interested can go to the website and see what's there. And if you like, you can also, there's a subscribe button on the page, someplace on the right, I guess, and you'll be informed of new installments as they come out. It's usually every week or so. Slowly getting there. So the basic theme of Vanaprastha life is winding down, detachment. When we marry, we build up. A man is, maybe he's been a brahmachari or he's been on his own, and he doesn't need very much. Life is fairly simple. But when he marries, then things expand. So now there has to be, if not a house, at least a flat, and there has to be some comforts, there has to be some good source of income. We build up our network, we build up our career, we build up our financial assets, our bank account, our investments, and we're expanding. We expand. And then it expands further. If we had a flat, it becomes a house. If we have a house, we start improving it. If we have a car, we get a second car. And then we have children, and we have all of the things that come with that. So there's a lot of building up that goes on. And retirement means, Vanaprastha life means winding down. Householder life, investment, and Vanaprastha life, divestment. Getting rid of attachments, getting rid of unnecessary necessities, getting rid of material entanglements on one side, and on the other side, investing more in hearing and chanting and serving Krishna, practical activities of Krishna consciousness. The point is not just to become detached. The Mayavadis are very interested in becoming detached from material existence. That's their whole theme. If I detach myself from material existence, I can merge with Brahma, and my life is perfect. We're not interested just in detachment for the sake of detachment. We're interested in detachment for the sake of Krishna consciousness. In householder life, typically, there's a lot of competition, or devotional service has a lot of competition. Everybody wants a piece of us. Our employers want a big piece of us. The children want a big piece of us. The wife wants a big piece of us. Everybody seems to want, the relatives, they want a piece of us. And so we have no peace. And we have no time. As I travel around, so many times the question, Maharaj, what if we have no time for reading and chanting? What if there's no time? Where do you find the time? What about the time? Because the theme of householder life is no time, no time. Between just eating and sleeping and those things, and then chanting 16 rounds, and then nobody works only 8 hours anymore. You have to be available because the team may need us for this or this or this or this, and so the cell phone is always on. And if we protest, then someone else is available to take our job. So where's the time? And in the background, we have to make sure we're up to date with everything. So on our own time, we're busy keeping up with our skills and our what's involved in our career. And where's the time for Krishna conscious activities? So in Vanaprastha life, there's all the time. The time then, not that in Grihastha life, if we manage Grihastha life also properly, then there's time. There's one Greek philosopher, Greek or Roman, he said that there's ample time in life for one who orders it properly. And another philosopher said, just look to the minutes, look to the hours, and the minutes will manage themselves. So look to the minutes and the hours will manage themselves. That's the right word. Look to the minutes, don't waste time. The hours will manage themselves. So in Grihastha life also we should find time for hearing, for chanting, for seva. But Vanaprastha life is especially meant for that. Grihastha life is purified by charity. And Vanaprastha life by austerity. Yagyadana tapa karma. Yagyadana tapas chaiva pavanani manishina. One should never give up yagya, dan, or tapa, because these are purifying even for those who are advanced in intelligence. Looking through Prabhupada's books, I've seen 6 systems of Vanaprastha life. It's actually 3 multiplied by 2. The 3 are to go out and travel, as Vidura did, Mahatma Vidura. He left Hastinapur, you might recall, and went and traveled to holy places. And in the course of his travels, he met Uddhava and met Maitreya Muni and attained perfection. So one system of Vanaprastha life is just go out and travel, purifying, to visit all of these holy places, to associate with the saintly people there. That's one system of Vanaprastha life. Another system is to go to a holy place and stay there. One might stay in Mayapur, Vrindavan, Puri. Mayavadis prefer places like Rishikesh and Haridwar, but to go and stay in a holy place. That's also purifying. Again, the point of a holy place is not just to bathe in the water there, but to associate with saintly devotees. Therefore, the Mayavadis prefer Rishikesh, Haridwar, to associate with other Mayavadis. And the devotees, therefore, who was it? Tapan Mishra, he said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'm stuck in this place, Benares, everybody's Namo Narayan and all of that. So the devotees prefer Puri, Vrindavan, Mayapur, like that. Tirupati. So the second system, stay in a holy place. And third system is come and go. Sometimes be at home, sometimes go out, come back, see how things are going on, go out, come back. Prabhupada did that. He was going to Jhansi for preaching. Then he was coming back, seeing how things were going on. Again, he would go out. And these three systems can be performed with or without one's wife. And so you get 6. We can travel with our wife, or husband and wife may travel together. One may go live in Vrindavan alone, or one may live in Vrindavan, husband and wife. Husband and wife may travel to here and there for preaching, or the husband may go out alone, leaving the wife ideally with the grown children. So we get, in this way, 6 systems. Srila Prabhupada never explicitly said there are 6 systems, but going through Prabhupada's books, I classified it that way. What are the rules for Vanaprastha life? The very explicit rule is no sex. And Prabhupada makes it clear that in 3 ashrams, no sex. In one ashram, sex life is allowed, grahastha ashram, where there's sex life for begetting Krishna conscious children. Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi. Krishna says this is also a religious principle. But for Vanaprastha, it's completely irreligious. Just as a sannyasi is forbidden to have sex, or a brahmachari is forbidden to have sex, and Vanaprastha is forbidden to have sex. There's no question of being a Vanaprastha and having sex life. Strict rule, because this is the main anchor of material existence. If we don't give up sex life, we haven't given up material attachment. So, and it shouldn't be so hard. When we reach old age, sex life isn't that much fun anyway. And are we really intending to have children at 50 or past 50? And without the intention of having children, where's the question of having sex life in the service of Krishna? So in the Vanaprastha ashram, there's strictly no sex. The wife and husband may stay together, and the wife in that situation stays with the husband, Prabhupada said, as a voluntary assistant, but there's no sex. What are some of the other rules? In the Bhagavatam it said, Grihastasya kriya tyago, vrata tyago, vatopari, vatorapi, vrata tyago vatorapi, tapasvino grama seva, bhikshur indriya lolata. It's abominable for a grahastha to give up the regulative principles. Kriya tyaga? Yeah, kriya tyag. Giving up the prescribed duties is abominable for a grahastha. For a brahmachari, not to follow the brahmachari vows, vrata tyago, bhattorapi, for a brahmachari, to give up the brahmachari vows is abominable. And tapasvino grama seva. Bhikshur indriya lolita, for a sannyasi to be addicted to sense gratification is abominable. And tapasvino grama seva, for a vanaprastha to live in the village and engage in so-called social activities. Grama seva, to be involved in the same village activities. It's not that we just stay at home and engage in social life. I've seen, we retire from our job and on our table there's an invitation to this wedding and an invitation to that wedding and an invitation to a graduation and an invitation to a this, that, all social affairs. These are not the business of the Vanaprastha. These are more or less on the bodily platform. And this is not what human life is ultimately meant for. This is not the path back home, back to Godhead, going from one wedding to the next graduation, to the next name-giving ceremony, to the next anniversary. That's described as abominable. Ashrama prasada, ashrama pasada hyete kalvashrama vidambhanaha deva maya vimudhanstan upekshe tanu kampaya. One who acts in this way is considered the lowest renegade. Such a pretender is bewildered by the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should either reject him from any position or, taking compassion upon him, teach him, if possible, to resume his original position. So the grahastas can carry on with these social activities. It's their business, not the business of the Vanaprasthas. Was that a question?
Yeah, there was. So when you read the Sanskrit word, did you say the Vanaprasthas are referred to as tapasvi, Maharaj?
Tapasvino, because as you'll recall, the brahmacharis are for sacrifice, the grahastas are for charity, and the vanaprasthas are for tapasya. Therefore, the vana is called tapovan, the van that's meant for tapasya. Prabhupada said, by the way, that in previous ages they would go to the forest. In this age, the Vrindavan, that van is more congenial for the devotees. Are there other questions so far? These adopting the Vanaprasthashram presumes, or is best done, with preparation. That is, if we're going to reach the age of 50 and suddenly decide, I want to be a Vanaprastha, that will be more difficult. It's better if we've prepared. When you went to start your career, you didn't just suddenly show up and say, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a doctor, I want to join your software company. We did our studies, we did training and so on, so that we would be fit for the job. Or when we married, we made sure that we had some career, that we had some, there was some background. So the best background actually for Vanaprastha life is brahmachari life. Now we tend to think, anyway, the boy is going to get married, why should he become a brahmachari? 80%, 90% of the boys all get married. Why waste time with brahmachari life? That doesn't help anyway, because he's going to need a career, he's going to need to learn to make money. Why should he become a brahmachari? This is not the Vedic conception. In the Vedic conception, first of all, the boys are trained how to control the senses, how to live as a humble servant of the Guru, and control the mind, control the senses, and become a man of character. If he doesn't know how to control his senses, how capable will he be to execute the duties of household life? The husband is supposed to be the spiritual master of the wife. If he's not even master of himself, what kind of master can he be for his wife and family? So brahmachari life is the best preparation for grihastha life. We see there are big men. They have distinguished positions, and they can't control their senses. They can't control their senses. Up to presidents of great nations who, they can't keep their hands off their secretaries. So although they're so big, they never learned how to control their senses. And therefore their lives are a failure. So the brahmachari life is the best training. And then after grihastha life, the vanaprastha goes back to the strengths that he developed as a brahmachari. He knows how to live simply, he knows how to study, he knows how to practice Krishna consciousness, he knows how to be satisfied with simple things. So he doesn't have to look up and say, where am I? What am I supposed to do? He's already done it. He just goes back and does it again. He remembers, I was happy as a brahmachari, it was very nice. So I can live that again with that simplicity and be absorbed in Krishna conscious activities. So the brahmachari training is first class training for the grihasthas, for the vanaprasthas, and for the sannyasis also. The vanaprastha is a gradual process. Sannyasa can be quite abrupt. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up in the middle of the night, and that was the last time Vishnupriya ever saw him. He left home. Prabhupada said he left the small world of family life for the greater world of Krishna and all humanity. But it was very sudden and shocking also. But Vanaprastha life doesn't involve that kind of shocking change. But it's a gradual transition, especially since with that kind of shocking change, there may be even a more shocking fall down. On Tuesday I leave my home, and on Friday I'm back. I renounce my family, and 3 days later I'm missing my wife and going back. So that's, as we read, abominable. We don't want to be there. So Vanaprastha life provides 25 years of opportunity to become gradually detached, so that at the end, toward the end of Vanaprastha life, practically there's not much difference between Vanaprastha life and sannyas. So the transition is not a big deal. Still it's a big deal, but not such a shocking thing. Everyone knew this is the direction. One thing about Panchashordham, 50, is that we don't know how long we have. Let's see. This is official knowledge for those who are living in the United States. Average, at birth, the average life expectancy for men is 76.1 years. And for women, 81.1. So if you reached 50 and you're a man, well, if you've reached 50, you get a little longer. You can add 3.7 years more if you're a man, and women, you can add an extra 2.3 on average. So 50-year-old men have roughly 30 years left, and women roughly 33. Keep in mind, though, that that's life expectancy. How many years before you die? It doesn't say anything about the quality of those years. We can spend quite a few years, sitting in our rocking chair, trying to remember who those people are around me, who are feeding me my applesauce, and pretty well deprived of the ability to do anything. We may not be mobile. We may be quite senile for no one knows how many years. But on the average, at least we can expect to live for maybe 30 years more if we're 50. If we're 70, you can expect 10 years only. And trying to get free now from home when I'm 70 is a lot more difficult. Who's going to do this for me? Who's going to do that for me? What about this? What about that? At 50, Prabhupada said, we still have we still have some life force. At 50, we know that life is like a bell curve. Young fellow like you're growing, you're getting stronger, you're becoming, more capable. And then that goes up to what? When you're maybe 30, and the bell curve starts to go this way. And muscles start to ache, and things start to not work as well, and appetite can be a problem, and we're more susceptible to this, and we've got bronchial problems or heart problems or cholesterol and blah, 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 blah. So it's deterioration. So if we're past like 30, we're already on the slide. So the idea is not to hit bottom while still attached to family life, but to adopt retired life while we still have the ability to go. I remember speaking in a meeting, and there was a wonderful devotee there, really good. I mean, he knew Shastra very well. He was, he had energy and conviction and serious Krishna consciousness. But because of his health was so seriously impaired, there's no question of leaving home. He just, you couldn't advise such a person, yes, leave home. There was a window of opportunity, and for him, that window had closed. So, all right, be Krishna conscious at home. That's good. But he could have done so much. If he'd taken earlier, he was no longer 50, I guess he was 65, 70, something. Earlier he could have left and could have really done something. But now that was no longer possible. So it's not something that can be put off indefinitely with this expectation that everything will just be status quo for waiting for us to catch up. We may be seriously deteriorating as the years go by. And apart from deteriorating, we may simply be finished. This 76.1 years is the national average. And our life is not going to be governed by average only. Quite a number of my godbrothers who are same age, I'm 75, and so many of my godbrothers who would be my age are no longer present, and many of them have left, a decade or more ago. So we can't count on even being in this body for we can't depend even on being in this body for past 50. So Turnam Yateta, Prabhupada used to quote from Bhagavatam, that's urgent business to go back to Godhead. There's a lot to say, actually, and not a lot of time to say it in, because there's a lot to cover. For the ladies, they may, as I mentioned, accompany their husbands and serve, or they may stay at home also. And because the Prabhupada said there are 4 stages, and for women 3 stages. In her youth, the woman is protected by her father. In childhood, by her father. In youth, by her husband. And in old age, by her grown sons, children. And I'm sure you've seen there are many elderly ladies in India who are living at home, but their business is bhajan. They're living at the home, but not for enjoyment. But they're doing puja, they're doing chanting, they're doing svadhyaya, they're leading a religious life. And in that way, they set a standard for the whole family. Prabhupada cited the mother of a wealthy family in Kanpur, who is like the lawgiver for the family. She's the authority, supreme authority in the family, and by her order, all of the sons have to attend the Mangal Arti every day in the family temple. And if they miss, then the pujari comes with a bill. You're being fined this much because you missed the Mangal Arti. So the elderly ladies provide an important example of Krishna conscious life and dedication to the lotus feet of Krishna. In modern Western society, the elderly lady goes looking for a boyfriend. Some fool who wants to marry a 75-year-old lady. But in Vedic life, the dedication is to Krishna consciousness. Then Striya Shuja Atepiyam Yanti Param Gitin. The ladies become also eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. In my book, I've provided a checklist of activities that one can adopt for gradual progress in the Vanaprastha life. They're not a list given by Prabhupada, but there's a list of so many things that one can do. And I've done it in such a way, you just pick the items that you can do next and check them. And it's up to each person. All right, what can I check next? And then most of them are things that don't have any risk associated with them. There's no real risk in giving up your Netflix subscription, should you have one. And we won't call for a show of hands. There's no risk in giving up our Star TV subscription. There's no risk in getting rid of so much extra stuff that we've gathered over the years and are keeping needlessly. And there are many, many other things that are in that list. They boil down to three things, really. To up our sadhana, strengthen our devotional activities, to up our sangha, our association with devotees, and especially with advanced devotees, and to up our seva, our devotional activities for serving the mission of Krishna consciousness, for preaching, for serving the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These are the three things one can do progressively. There's so many retreats for sadhu sangha, for hearing, for chanting. There's so many opportunities for serving in our different temples. There's so many opportunities for improving our sadhana. And one can take these, even in householder life. It's not that, all right, now I'm 50, I'm going to start all these things. One can do this in family life. And then when Vanaprastha time comes, we can increase very seriously. We have many examples. We have one of Bhakti Chara Maharaj's disciples, Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu. I don't know if anyone here knows him. He's been serving in New Jersey. He was a professional from Gujarat. And when his sons were married, then he moved into the temple. He had already been thinking, let me move into the temple. And when his sons married, he thought, why should I stay with them? Let me live in the temple and do seva. His wife has been serving the deities for 20 years there. He's been also involved in deity seva and doing the accounts. And he's happy. He's very happy being engaged. And, he sometimes sees his sons, but he says, they have their life, I have my life. I have another devotee. He also happens to be Gujarati. He's living in London. His wife is busy serving the deities at the manor and the deities in London, both. So she's so busy. No time. She's busy serving London Ishvara and busy serving Radha Gokulananda. And he's spending some of his days in London and some of his days in Leicester, preaching, doing seva. So there are examples. I could give other examples. One of them, I don't know if any of you know Atul Krishna Prabhu. He's an Australian devotee. Served in Mayapur for many years, married to a nice Bengali lady. And every year he would invite Kadambakananda Maharaj and me to his home for lunch one day. His wife is a very expert cook, so she would make a big Bengali feast for us. And so every year we were going. Then one year he also invited us, but I'm not living there anymore. I'm living down the street. So he would come, but he wasn't living at home. That means gradual detachment. Gradual detachment. And he's increased his preaching, his teaching, and travels, and yes, instructs many devotees in the science of Krishna. So there's so much to be done if you think about all the things that need to be done for Krishna consciousness. And if you were to picture all of our men above 50 being engaged in some kind of seva, oh, how much could be done? So, looking at the clock, maybe I'll stop there. Except I should say, what is the end of Vanaprastha life? Vanaprastha life ends in two ways, either in sannyas or in death. In the Bhagavatam it's said that when Vanaprastha sees that he can no longer perform his daily duties, then he should adopt fasting and give up his body. We all have to give up this body. So when it's useless, when I can't do anything with it anymore, all right, let me just give it up. Or sannyas. Sannyas is also civil death. We give up this identification and engage ourselves fully for the service of Krishna, service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Prabhupada did. He had his wife, he had an unmarried daughter, at least one, but he thought, my Guru Maharaj has given me some mission, some service that I have to do. And he did it. And we're all the beneficiaries. So I'll take some questions, if there are some questions at this point. Yes?
How should we think about our responsibility
Towards our?
kids?
How should we think about our responsibilities towards our kids? First thing is we should, if we're doing strategic planning, we should think about when we want to have our kids. You know, I'm 50 and my youngest is 6 years old. So I can come back in 20 years and look at Vanaprastha life. That means I haven't done the best job of strategic planning. If I'm going to leave at 50, why am I having a child at 45? So the best thing is have the kids early and be done with it. If you have your kids at 25, when you're 50, they'll be 25, and they can stand on their own. That's the best advice. If we haven't taken that best practice as our standard, then we'll have to adjust. But that's the idea. Have the children early. First of all, don't wait to get married till you're 43. And the ladies also, everything's backwards. I'm not going to give that's a separate seminar. But get married, have your kids, and then, you know, there's a timeline, all right, 25, and then you're good. If we haven't done that, then we have some choices. Generally, we think that it's our highest duty to send our children through school, and when they graduate college, then I can think about giving up my job when I'm 64 or what have you. In my book, I've questioned that assumption, that it's my duty to make sure that my kids go to college. This is part of our spoiled brat culture, in which children somehow are entitled to this, that, and the other thing. In America, even our not very austere America, children knew, if I want to go to college, I'm going to have to see that I can go to college. Either I have to study like anything and get myself a scholarship, or I'm going to have to work and get some money together so that I can go to college. But it's not that I can expect my elderly parents to work for me into their 60s so that I can attend school. It's not anywhere in Shastra that I know of that the father has to work into his 60s and 70s to make sure that his children can, his kids can go to school or his daughter can have a big wedding. No. When I was recently in Eastern Europe, I saw there are quite a number of Indian students attending medical school and so on in places like Moldova and Bulgaria, because the prices of medical school there are a fraction even of what they might be in India. So they go, they get their degree, and they're qualified. And this is what we could afford, fine. Not that my father has taken an oath that he's going to send me to NYU or Columbia or this or that. Take what you can afford. So that, and there are other options also. Germany, you can go to school and the state will pay, even if you're not German. They need skilled workers, professionals. They'll send you to school. So there are options other than dad has to work till he's 80. That's one consideration. Another consideration is that what duty is higher? The duty of sending one or two kids to school, or the duty of spreading Krishna consciousness movement all over the world for the benefit of thousands of others. As I mentioned, Prabhupada had an unmarried daughter. You can't leave your daughter unmarried. But he did, for the service of Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left his elderly mother and his devoted wife, young wife, for the service of Krishna. So it's not that the only thing is, no, I've taken a solemn vow, I can't leave home until everything is done. Who was that? In Bhagavatam, he promised his son to such and such demigod, and then no, first let his teeth grow in, then let this happen, then putting it off. Who was that? Ranti Dev? I've forgotten. Not Ranti Dev, somebody else. Someone remember? Anyway.
It's not from Bhagavatam, but in Device.
No, it's in Bhagavatam.
Story of Kailash, that's what I was thinking. Story of Kailash?
No, this is in Bhagavatam. In later cantos. But anyway, it's up to us finally. It's an individual choice, but it's not. There's no Shastra conjunction that you have to stay in family life until your sons have completed their education, and you have to send your daughter to graduate school. That's all American dharma. There was a question in the back. Yes. The question, by the way, is dealt with more fully in the book.
So I don't know the Shastras, but it seems to me that there is a high correlation between chronological age and life stage.
High correlation between
chronological age and life stage.
And life savings.
No, life stage, what you do.
Life stage, yes. Of course. We're not going to go to kindergarten in our 30s.
And for those of us who are not very good at strategic planning, to your previous comment, are there exceptions?
For some reason, the acoustics are working against my half-deaf ears. I guess if you try speaking a little slower, I may hear properly.
Okay. So, for those of us who've not been very good at strategic planning, meaning doing things...
Those of us who have not been very good at strategic planning.
What are the exceptions? Like, what if one gets a calling for something that is professional at the age of 60? Should we heed that, or should we still focus on the life stage?
As a general direction, ditch it. Pass it up. if we're getting, great opportunities for material advancement in our 60s and 70s, is that what I got the human birth for? Durlabha manava janma tadapi adruvam artanam. The human life is achieved after millions of lifetimes, and we don't know how much longer it will last for us. So we should try for the highest purpose in human life while we have it. The professional life, after all, is basically defending. I'm defending myself against threats of, economic disaster. So I'm working, I'm getting money, I'm getting comfort. I can get that in animal life. The animals have their nests, their caves, they have their security, whatever it is. They have their skills. They have their families. That's there for every animal. So if, as human beings, if we only advance in animal life, then we succeeded, but the life is a failure. I was a successful engineer, I was a successful doctor, I was a successful lawyer, but my life was a failure. The real success of life is to revive my eternal relationship with Krishna, get free from the cycle of birth and death, and go back to Godhead. So that should be in the Bhagavatam also it said, Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa narto yasceha karma bhi. Life is not meant for indriya priti, for pleasing our senses. Labho jiveta yavata, one should just take enough to live. Labho jiveta yavata, for the sake of living, let me get something. That also, what comes of accord, yadrichcha labha santushta. Let me be satisfied, I don't need a higher standard. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. Because the real purpose of human life is to inquire about the absolute truth, to inquire about spiritual advancement. Narto yasceha karma bhi. Nothing else should be the purpose of our activity. Is that okay? Something else? Yes.
One of the concerns I have with kids is how long should we let them sleep? So that,
How long should we let our kids sleep and so?
Yeah,
I don't think
me-
I'm going to answer that question.
for me, 6
child
hours.
rate-
For me, 6 hours is standard. But do you have any suggestions?
No, I don't have any suggestions. Child raising is beyond my area of expertise. Last time I had anything to do with children, I was probably about 12. So there are others who could advise you about such matters. This is a different matter. I should mention also that I did a longer seminar during the COVID days on this topic, and it's on YouTube someplace. You can search for it. If you look under my name and maybe Vanaprastha, you'll find an extended discussion of these topics, apart from what's published on my website. You can take advantage of that. This is also, you probably don't need this advice, but there's practical advice. You may find it actually very useful. A lot of time we spend our time working in family life and spending what we earn so that at the time for retirement, we still owe for this, we still owe for that, we still need to think about how to pay for college and expenses and this and that. If we've managed our finances well, it's possible to save a lot of money and be well situated in terms of one's duties and responsibilities when the time for retirement comes. There are 2 seminars available on this. For those who know Hindi, there's a seminar by Ananda Vrindavan Das, disciple of Radhanath Maharaj in Bombay, very expert man in high finance in Bombay, and a very capable devotee, and his advice is very valuable. For those few who may not know Hindi, there's a similar seminar by Vamsi Gopal Das in English. Both have, if you look for personal finance and the names of those devotees, you'll find them. And Ananda Vrindavan has particularly given very useful advice for the householders how to live in such a way that we don't become just payers of debt. I just recently met a devotee, he's like in his 40s or something, and he just moved to a new house, a bigger house. And his kids are grown, and he's just got a bigger house. Why? This is the time for winding down, not building up. So there's much more to say, but I should stop. You have other duties, I have other duties. I'll put in a mention again of yesterday's book. Those who didn't pick up a copy yesterday, today is another day. Srila Prabhupada's Kirtan Standards. I won't say more about it except that you can get a copy. They're available in the back. And thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to Srila Prabhupada.
So Maharaj, the temple is sponsoring for some of the youth this book. So I'm going to call out some of the kids' names, and if you would be gracious enough to maybe sign for them.
Yeah.
So probably. Oh, so Vanaprastha Prabhu is, he himself is sponsoring? Okay, Haribol. So Vanaprastha Prabhu is sponsoring this book, which is basically, Maharaj has mentioned about Prabhupada's guidance in terms of what the Kirtan standards are. Maharaj spoke yesterday about it. So I'd like to call the names of all the kids here who have been growing up in Krishna consciousness. So they've been doing Kirtans, Maharaj. So we'll start with Akshara. Is Akshara here? Okay. Sreshta. No, one by one. Just come here, take the book. Maharaj will write for you. And then next, Riya.
Hare Krishna.
And so is anyone from, oh yeah. So Arjun Tiwari, please. Then we have Tulsi Manjari, Tulsi Priya. Prabhu, you can come. Yeah. If your daughter is not there or son is not here, but you are here, please come and pick up as well. And then Kana. Prabhuji, you want to pick up for Kana? Oh, he's here. Okay, I didn't see. Yes. One second. Yeah. Then Sai Krishna, Sridhar Gopal Prabhu or Mataji. Okay, they're not here. Krishna Murali Prabhu, want to pick up for your daughter? Samyukta. Then Vrunda. Then we have Sia.
Oh.
Then Krisangi. Yeah. Tulsi.
Hey, Hare Krishna.
Shivani. So both of you can come. It's one per family. So.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, you want to pick up also for Ayan?
You know, we could be having kirtan while we're doing this.
So somebody can do the kirtan in parallel. Srishta.
Hare Krishna.
विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नीतिनामिने
विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी नित्याद्यादिसतारिणे
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा हरे रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol
Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol
Nitai Gaura